top 5 Coen brothers movies. We've got quite a list to choose from, must be said. I will say, when I looked on Letterboxd, because I prepared as I always do with these things, I prepared a list of all the Coen brothers movies that I've seen. I've seen all but 2 of theirs. There was a couple more actually where they did segments in movies. But as for their feature films where they directed the whole thing, I did. There's 2 that I've not seen. One of them is the new one that's just come out on Netflix, and the other one is Inside Llewyn Davis. So they're the 2 I've not seen. I will say there are actually a few on here that, and I guess this is only because of how good they can be. Like there's 4 on here where I'm like, nah, I don't really feel like I need to watch them again. One of them's an absolute stinker, and I'd say that's The Lady Killers. I won't give any more away than that, because I don't think Lady Killers is appearing on anybody's top 5 Coen brothers list. Let's face it. But yeah, that's definitely the worst of theirs. And like I said, there's 3 more that I can probably live without seeing again. But yeah, there's a clear kind of, there's six of their movies that I've given a 5-star rating. So yeah,
I would say my top 5 are all 5-star movies as well. And this was something I was fretting about doing, because I feel as if it's such a daunting task. Pick 5, and then I was like the dude, I had a zen moment where I was like, you know what, you can pick 10, 100 people, they're all going to have different top 5 Coen brothers movies. So I just scanned their filmography, picked out the 5 that I would love to watch again at a drop of a hat. My top 5 is complete, as easy as the dude would do it.
Okay. I will say it does pain me to have that number 6 choice. You know, I'd love to make this a top 6, just because. I mean, how many filmmakers can you say that about? How many filmmakers can you do a top 5 in which all 5 of those movies are 5-star movies? You know, and then you've got another one that's a 5-star movie which you can't put on. I mean, I don't know about your 6th or 7th or whatever. I don't know if there's any more you would give a 5, but.
Right, so who's going to go first here, Brian?
Go on, I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I've already mentioned it. Raising Arizona. A lot of nostalgia feeds into this film for me, but at the end of the day, nostalgia or not, it's a damn good film. The characters, again, you know, so offbeat, so quirky. It's got a kidnapping plot, which is another constant theme throughout their body of work. If you look at all of their films, I would say at least half of them involve some kind of kidnapping plot. Like I say, this is one of their earliest. It's great, it's funny, it's got one of the best Nicolas Cage performances that he's ever done. You know, for me, it's my favourite Nicolas Cage performance. It's before he became a big action star in the 90s. Yeah, everyone in it. John Goodman again, just really nailing it. John Goodman's actually one of my favourite actors. He's that guy who, I mean, we've said this on Brits on Flicks before. You know, he's that guy who you put him in anything, and he'll just bring it. You know, he can steal a scene, and yeah, just Raising Arizona, brilliant film. If you haven't seen it, I couldn't recommend it enough, especially if you're a fan of the Coen brothers in general, but this is the one that maybe has escaped you. For me, it was my introduction to them, and it's a film that has just stuck with me since. So many great moments, like with the biker, the Satan. What is he? Is he a demon? He could be the devil himself. Just the way he comes on the scene and shoots that rabbit, blows up the throws the dynamite and blows up the rabbit. But yeah, brilliant film. I'll say no more just in case you want to elaborate on it. But
my number 5 was the Coen brothers' debut movie, Blood Simple.
Okay.
Great admiration for this movie, and I think they really made their mark by making this pulp, grimy detective story again. All the people are duplicitous and grimy and dirty, and each one seems to be a little bit more dank or dirty than the one previous, type of thing. You get terrific performances, especially from Emmett Walsh, and I just love the sort of small, pulpy, grimy story that they've created here. I don't think they've done anything that remotely comes close to it again in their filmography, but it's one that I go back to every now and again, and every time I do, I'm like, wow, it's just they just knocked it out the park first time running. So yeah, Blood Simple's my number 5.
Okay. My number 4 is No Country for Old Men, a film that won the Best Picture Oscar in a year that actually had some amazing contenders, and even some that didn't become contenders but should have done. It's the same year that Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford was released, a film that should have been nominated for Best Picture as far as I'm concerned. Another Roger Deakins effort as well there. There Will Be Blood was released that year. For me personally, that probably should have won Best Picture. But yeah, it was definitely a year that had a lot of great contenders. But No Country for Old Men, it's very serious film. A lot of the Coen brothers' work can go into zany kind of offbeat, quirky comedy. They can be hit and miss with that. I think like the majority of my top films of theirs do tend to err more on the serious side, but this is probably their darkest, most serious work that they've done. The whole cast, again, as is typical with their work, fantastic performances. Just Anton Chigurh as a character that they've created, one of the best characters to come out of cinema in the past 2 decades, for sure. Really scary, really creepy, kind of like the Terminator. Really, it just will not stop until you are dead. Again, a film that has something to say about the modern world. I think if the Big Lebowski is about the more kind of modern man who is just trying to detach himself from everything that is high flying and business related and capitalist and all that, and just like you said, go zen, then I guess this is a film that's more about where are we heading as a result of our narcissism, our greed, our just inability to escape our sinful nature, I guess. And I know a lot of people had trouble with the ending of this film because it's very abrupt. We follow this character, something happens to this character, it's all very abrupt, it all just kind of suddenly gets wrapped up like that. We get one moment with Tommy Lee Jones kind of a bit dumbstruck, and that's the point. That's where is that where we're heading, basically, where it's just Tommy Lee Jones's reaction to that at the end is perfect, just the way he can't weigh up the evil that is in this world, that is of our own making, and it scares him because he doesn't know what the answer is, he doesn't know where we're heading. So great film, 5 out of 5, obviously, as I've already said.
My number 4 is Inside Llewyn Davis.
Okay.
This is one that it wasn't one of the more renowned Coen Brothers movies, and I was very, very wary going into it, and I loved it. Now, the main character of Llewyn Davis is horrible. He's not a nice character. He makes the wrong choice at every single turn. He is constantly using people for his own gains. Not bad or malicious things, but just little gains so he can move along. and it's based in the sort of 60s within the folk music scene. I love the music that's all the way through the sort of movie itself. The different kind of people that he bumps into. He's kind of out of place, out of home, and is dossing about, living with various people for days here and there, trying to get his music back on track, so to speak. It's a couple of days within the life of this character, and it's wonderful, absolutely truly wonderful. I don't hear enough people talking good things about this, and when I thought about the list, I thought this is going to be high up, but there was other Coen movies to but still make it onto my top 5. I think that's an indication that I really do enjoy this movie, and I really do recommend it to a lot of people. It's not going to be the most accessible Coen Brothers movie for everybody, but if you can find something to latch on to there, you're going to find a really enjoyable film about a not so enjoyable character.
Can I just ask, are there any films below your top 5 that still get that 5-star rating?
I'd need to jump back on and have a look at this, but yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I could have put it above 5. There could have been more than 5. I think they've got a tremendous career.
Yeah. Okay.
And to be honest, when I was going to do my list, before I even sat down, I was like, yeah, I love their comedy output. The comedy output's the one that I really gravitate towards. Yeah, one of them made it onto my top list.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. My number 3 is The Big Lebowski. Obviously, we've reviewed it on the beginning of this show, but yeah, just an amazing comedy with amazing characters, brilliantly written. That, yeah, just is about stupid people doing stupid things, which is, as I say, the common trope in Coen Brothers movies.
My number 3 has one of my favourite protagonists that the Coen Brothers have ever created, with Marge Gunderson. This is, of course, Fargo, a movie that, like I said at the start, I did not appreciate on first watch for what it was, which is an absolute masterstroke of comedy. It is an out and out comedy film, and it is ridiculously funny. We get William H. Macy, who plays this type of character tremendously well, a man who is so out of his depth that mere threat of a conversation makes him run away. We get this heavily pregnant Marge Gunderson, who is terrific. She is more capable at 8 months pregnant than almost the entire rest of the police force. She's often looking after them while she tries to track down what has happened. Just again, it's the conversations, it's the situations, it's the Steve Buscemi and Peter Stormare bad guys, the one that never shuts up and the one that never talks. Of course, the memorable scenes like the wood chipper.
Yeah. I always remember that scene because I remember I watched Fargo. The first time I watched Fargo was with my mum and dad, and I just remember when that scene hit, when they go around when she goes around the corner and she sees him with the leg in the wood chipper. My dad just erupted in laughter, just like fits of laughter, and he set my mum off. My mum's not particularly, she's not particularly into violent movies. She'd rather watch something else. But just the fact that it set my dad off in absolute hysterics. Then she was gone and I was gone, and we kind of had to rewind the next 2 minutes of the film just because we hadn't paid attention to anything that had gone on because we were just in hysterics at that moment. But that is my one overriding memory of Fargo. But it is, as you say, it's a great film. Again,
it's 90 minutes, and it is. I mean, you can say whatever you want, crime, black comedy, whatever. No, it for me is an out and out comedy movie, and it marvels at that.
Yeah.
So
brilliant film. Yeah, it's a 5-star film for me, but it's not my number 2. My number 2 is Miller's Crossing. Just man, like, first time I saw this film, I'm like, why do people rant and rave about The Godfather, Scarface, Goodfellas, Casino? Miller's Crossing, dude, as a gangster film, is flipping up there. You know, like I would take Miller's Crossing over any of those other films I've just mentioned, and that's you know, that's saying a lot, because those other films I've mentioned I perfectly accept are absolute classics. But Miller's Crossing never gets put in contention, never gets included in the conversation when people are talking gangster movies, you know, like the absolute best gangster movies. And this, for me, is just, I mean, for one, it's set in the proper gangster era. Like, you know, you good old-fashioned Tommy gun toting,
Prohibition era,
Chrysler driving gangsters, you know. That's the era that I kind of like. If you're going to do a gangster movie, that's the era I really like. And this movie is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Again, it's that thing that the Coen brothers do. They make these characters that you just get sucked into, you know, into their world and follow. Gabriel Byrne here doing really good performance as usual. And what's his name? John Turturro is really great in this. I like John Turturro doesn't really do that much of any great note unless he's working with the Coens. For me personally, I can't think of a right lot of films where he's been great, where he's been a bit of a scene stealer, where he wasn't working with the Coen brothers. You know, I'm not saying he's bad, I'm not saying I don't like him, but I just think
they get the best out of him. Yeah,
that's where he belongs. And he plays this guy who's, you know, he's a bit of a traitor. Well, not a bit, he's a traitor. And you know,
he's a weasel.
He's a weasel, and it catches up with him. And then he's that scene where he's pleading for his life. It's just, it's gritty, it's brilliant. There's a really great shootout in it. I love it. I love the era. I love the cinematography. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Roger Deakins again. It certainly has the feel of a Roger Deakins kind of look about it. But yeah, brilliant stuff. If you like gangster movies and you've not seen it, and you're still one of them, you know, hold the Goodfellas and all them lot up in high regard, with good reason, mind. Don't think I'm not thinking there isn't good reason to do that. But you've not seen Miller's Crossing, get your ass out there now and get a copy and watch it, because it's fantastic, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, that scene you're talking about where he's begging for his life, and you have these golden brown leaves on the ground, the sort of barren trees, you've got images of that later on with the hat going down it. It's all very memorable, which is why it's my number 2 as well, Brian.
Yes, correct.
And again, the Coen brothers take a typical story. You have a man in a town who starts playing off two warring factions against each other, you know, playing them against each other. You've seen it done plenty of times before, but again, the Coens elevate it and imbue it with these characters, with these situations, a look, a style that just puts it far and above its contemporaries. It is a terrific movie with amazing performances and, like you say, production value. It looks the part. They always get these great production sets designed and all that, and it's just one of these movies that it sticks with me. It's been a few years since I saw it, actually. Do you know what? I need to watch this pretty soon. It's one of these ones that when you put it on, nothing's going to drag you away from the screen. Absolutely nothing. You will be captivated until this thing ends, because it's a marvellous piece of movie making.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Okay, which brings me to number 1, which I think might surprise a lot of people, but yeah, it's True Grit. I love a good Western, and this is a damn good Western. It's also one of the best remakes ever made, although the Coens won't actually they don't really refer to it as a remake. The way they see it is they're readapting the book. Their source of inspiration is the book.
Well, after the Lady Colours, do they want to see remake again?
Yeah, exactly. Either way you cut it, it's a remake. It's a film that's been made before. It's very, very similar to the original with regards to the story, obviously, because it's still adapting the same book. So you can't, you can say what you want. You're not going to escape the fact that it bears the hallmarks of a remake. I don't think that's anything to be ashamed by, because, like I say, as far as remakes go, this is up there with The Thing. As this is one of the best remakes I've ever seen. I'm not a big Western guy. I'm not the one who just sticks on any John Wayne film. Right? I'm not actually that partial to John Wayne. I don't really like John Wayne movies. I zone out during them. I'm more of a Clint Eastwood guy myself. But when a Western can be as good as Unforgiven, when it's hitting that kind of bar, then I'm all in, and this is certainly one of those films. Again, it's saying the same stuff we always say with the Coens. They've got a brilliant cast who all do great work, really great performances, particularly the girls. Haley Steinfeld.
Yes. Yep.
One of the best performances I've ever seen from a performer of that age. Absolutely incredible. Really incredible performance. And she's actually the age of the person that they're trying to portray in the novel, unlike, the actress in the original film, which adds a much better dynamic to it, I think, because when she's in trouble, it makes me a lot more nervous, I guess. I don't know why that should be the case or why it is the case, but it is, simple fact of the matter. Some great characters, like Matt Damon's character. Again, he's a bit of an imbecile, but not full tilt Coen imbecile. And you kind of feel sorry for the guy, and in the end he's a bit of a douche when we're first introduced to him, but in the end he becomes part of the team. He becomes part of their unit, and I like the way that progresses, that they do, as the movie goes on, they do start to become this family. You've got Jeff Bridges, who essentially becomes the surrogate father to this girl, and then Matt Damon, who comes along and kind of becomes the surrogate uncle, or it's great. Josh Brolin's really good, really menacing as the villain. And I just love the story of this girl whose parents have been murdered, and she hires this guy who's got a reputation for being the best, hires him to go and track down these killers so that she can bring them to justice. And she refuses to stay behind. She has to go with him. Like I say, it just creates really interesting relationship between this drunken, worn out bum of a man and this young feisty girl who will stop at nothing to seek justice. Great film, one of the best westerns ever made. If I did a top 10 westerns, it would be in my top 5. It's up there with Unforgiven. Brilliant stuff. My favourite Coen Brothers film.
No. My favourite Coen Brothers movie this week is The Big Lebowski. It just
because you watched it this week.
Very probably. But it is an unadulterated joy for me. The dude abides, indeed. I love every character that is on show here. I love the plot. I love the lack of plot at certain points. I do love the way the conversations feel honest. That this group of friends that are very antagonistic towards each other but still have that camaraderie speaks to me. I think the character is wholly unique, and there is a reason that it's still in the zeitgeist, because it was a terrific thing. And this should be mentioned as well. The Big Lebowski was a bit of a flop when it came out. Critically and performance wise, it's grown in cult stature over the years, but
it's also developed a religion. There's actually a religion of dudism.
Dudism. Oh, God. But yeah, The Big Lebowski for me is a fantastic Coen Brothers movie, and it's one that I would happily watch at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Okay. Just quickly run down your top 5 again. Just
Blood Simple, Inside Llewyn Davis, Fargo, Miller's Crossing, The Big Lebowski.
Wow. So we share 2 in common. We got two in our top 5. Wow. So I will say, I mean, I think I've already alluded to it. Fargo was that number 6 film that it did pain me not to put it in there. But yeah, there's 4 films of theirs after that I would give a 4-star rating to, and then a couple that I would, yeah. The rest I would give like a good solid 3-star rating, I think, except for Lady Killers, which is just I will never watch again.
Yeah, it's poor. It's poor. I've watched the new one that's on Netflix as well, and it's an anthology movie of 6 stories, and I feel like it's almost like a bit of every single Coen's movie wrapped into one. It feels like they've run through the
greatest hits.
Yeah, it's drama, it's comedy, it's all Wild West. Okay. It's so much fun. I liked it a lot. It's not 5-star, but it's a very good movie. Yeah, okay. I wish I could have seen it in the big screen. Honestly. So there we have our top 5.
Look forward to seeing that. Excellent. Okay, there you go.